He robbed businesses. He escaped prison. He outsmarted investigators. And then he confessed to multiple murders. But even today, some people wonder whether Gary Charles Evans told the whole truth, or whether some of his darkest secrets were never discovered. Imagine arresting a criminal, locking him behind bars, and believing the nightmare was finally over. Then imagine him escaping, again and again and again. For years, authorities chased one of America's most elusive criminals, a man who seemed capable of slipping through almost any prison wall, a prolific thief, a master manipulator, and according to his own confessions, a serial killer. His name was Gary Charles Evans, and his crimes would leave investigators searching for answers long after his death. This is the disturbing story of Gary Charles Evans. Long before becoming one of New York's most notorious criminals, Gary Charles Evans appeared to be living an ordinary life. But beneath the surface, he was developing habits that would eventually define his future. Theft, deception, risk-taking. Evans discovered that stealing was profitable. More importantly, he was good at it. Over time, what started as criminal behavior evolved into a lifestyle, and the stakes kept getting higher. During the 1970s, Evans became known for a series of sophisticated burglaries. Unlike impulsive criminals, he planned carefully. He studied targets, learned routines, and looked for weaknesses. Investigators often found themselves dealing with a criminal who seemed several steps ahead. Jewelry stores, businesses, valuable property. Evans built a reputation as an extremely successful thief. But theft wasn't the only crime connected to his name. As investigators dug deeper into Evans' activities, disturbing connections began to emerge. Several individuals linked to his criminal world had vanished under suspicious circumstances. Rumors circulated. Witnesses talked. Detectives compared notes. Yet proving anything would be difficult. There was little evidence, few witnesses, and many unanswered questions. The mystery surrounding Evans continued to grow. Eventually, law enforcement caught up with him. Evans was arrested. For most criminals, that would have been the end. For Gary Evans, it was merely an interruption, because Evans possessed a remarkable ability. He could escape. Time after time, authorities found themselves facing the same problem. Somehow, Gary Evans was free again. Each escape further strengthened his reputation as one of the most elusive criminals in the region. Then came the revelations that shocked investigators. While in custody, Evans began talking. What he told authorities was chilling. He confessed to multiple murders connected to his criminal activities. According to Evans, some victims had been killed because they threatened to expose him. Others were connected to robberies. The confessions painted a picture far darker than anyone had imagined. Suddenly, authorities were no longer dealing with a prolific thief. They were dealing with a confessed serial killer. Detectives worked tirelessly to verify Evans' claims. Some details matched known cases. Other claims proved difficult to confirm. Investigators revisited old files, re-interviewed witnesses, searched for evidence. The deeper they looked, the more complicated the story became. Evans seemed to know details that only someone involved could have known. Yet questions remained about the full extent of his crimes. News of Evans' confessions spread quickly. The public became fascinated by the case. Newspapers covered every development. True crime enthusiasts followed every revelation. Meanwhile, Evans appeared to enjoy the attention. He spoke openly about his crimes, his escapes, his life as a criminal. But many investigators remained cautious. They knew that Evans was also a skilled manipulator. As legal proceedings continued, Evans faced the consequences of decades of criminal activity. Authorities worked to piece together a complete picture of his crimes. Families searched for answers. Detectives sought closure. Yet many mysteries remained. Not every question was answered. Not every claim was fully verified. Some secrets may have died with Evans. Gary Charles Evans left behind a legacy unlike most criminals. He was known as a master thief, an escape artist, a confessed killer, and a man who kept investigators chasing him for years. His story serves as a reminder that some criminals are dangerous not only because of what they do, but because of how long they manage to avoid accountability. Gary Charles Evans spent years staying one step ahead of the law. He escaped custody, built a criminal empire, and confessed to crimes that shocked an entire region. But even today, questions remain about the true extent of his actions. How many crimes did he actually commit? How many secrets did he take with him? And how many mysteries surrounding his life will never be solved? The story of Gary Charles Evans is not just the story of a thief. It is the story of a man who spent years outrunning justice until he finally couldn't. And that's what makes his story one of the most disturbing true crime cases in American history. For more interesting true crime stories like this, kindly click on the subscription button.